Who doesn't love a good sandwich? Or what about some good music? This morning, we're introducing you to one chef who's combining both worlds. Brian Tsao has cooked in some of New York City's best restaurants like Beauty and Essex, and he even won the competition show Beat Bobby Flay on the Food Network. Now, Tsao is at the helm of his own sandwich shop, which opened in May. For our series, The Dish, I visited Mission Sandwich Social in Brooklyn, Williamsburg to be exact, where all sandwiches have a twist of rock and roll. And I even got a little jam session in with the chef.
We're going to go with some of this herb mayo, which has rosemary, thyme, and fresh oregano.
At Mission Sandwich Social in Brooklyn, Chef Brian Tsao taps into his fine dining experience.
It's a play on a classic Italian combo of melon and prosciutto.
To bring unique flavors with a flair of rock and roll.
It was called the post-melon or the post-melon.
To elevate the humblest of foods, the sandwich.
Everything is so harmonious.
Everything's working together. It's almost like a song, a progression.
Tsao's sandwiches start with his secret recipe, Dutch crunch bread.
Maybe I'll give you the exclusive behind the scenes one of these days, but for now it remains a secret.
Each sandwich has a vegetarian option.
I wanted people to still be able to experience the sandwich the way it was meant to be with a vegetarian option.
And they're all infused with his passion for food and music.
The two worlds I wanted to bring together was the world of rock and roll, heavy metal, and New York City urban culture, and kind of blend the two. And I think this is a very good representation of who I am as a person.
When he's not in the kitchen, you can find Tsao rocking out with his band Lost Becomes. His love of music goes as far back as his love of cooking.
I grew up with a Taiwanese father, a Korean mother, but growing up, having Western food was always a treat. The memories ingrained in my mind of these big, saucy subs, just meaty, and the sauce would be dripping down my hand. I never had something like that in my life, but I was like, I can make something like this. And I was only 13, 14 years old. And before you know it, a week later, there's a meat slicer on the kitchen counter at my house, to my mom's dismay. And my dad had me making sandwiches for lunch for the staff on weekends.
Even at that early age, know that you wanted to cook?
No, not at all. It's pretty common in Asian culture. A chef profession is kind of looked down upon. When I told my parents I wanted to be a chef, they were definitely like, oh no, my kid wants to be a chef. And now they won't shut up about it. Be like, hey, guess what? My son is a chef, So we're gonna start with this short rib that's been marinated in my mom's recipe. And we're gonna start with ranch dressing.
His signature sandwich is his mom's Korean barbecue or bulgogi recipe.
All right. We're gonna put some of this sauce directly onto the meat, along with some fresh mozzarella. Okay. So this is gochugaru, rice wine vinaigrette. Gochugaru is a Korean chili flake. Tiny bit more sauce, and there's a purpose for that.
Okay.
It's so that when I put the fries on...
No way.
This is America, baby. It's America.
And no Korean meal is complete without some kimchi.
I'm gonna close this up.
Wow, this thing is huge. Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm drooling. I'm drooling as I'm biting into it. It's never happened to me before, where I'm opening up my mouth to eat something and drool.
He hopes to create memories with his sandwiches and hook customers just the way music does.
There's something about like a good guitar hook, the way it sits in the frequency range, it just captures you. Every time I make a sandwich, there's gotta be something about it that hooks you in, where you go, I need to try that.
Tsao spent his days building out his restaurant concept and taste testing his menu when many businesses were forced to shutter due to the pandemic. What did it mean to you during the pandemic and subsequent to it to see some of the violence perpetrated against people in the AAPI community?
It got me very concerned for my parents, for my wife, for my daughter. It got me concerned for the fellow Asian person I've never met before. But I also made it a mission of mine to be the best version of myself. I know that my actions will speak much louder than any of those violent acts can.
He's now a force and a representative in the food industry. and hopes to connect people with what he calls the universal language.
Food is big time the universal language. It hits them to their soul. Like, that feeling can only come from food. And it's something that's understood by everybody from every culture and every place. When you give someone really good food, it like goes straight to the heart, man.
We're big fans.
Right?
Yes. Where are the sandwiches, Vlad?
I texted Brian earlier this morning. He's going to bring some sandwiches for us. No problem.
I was going to say, I love how you called them harmonious sandwiches, but we cannot harmonize with you.
Exactly.
Because you did
I'm
not
sorry,
bring us any
y'all.
sandwiches.
Honestly, all jokes aside, were they as good as they looked? Because they looked great.
Guys, I was not kidding when I said I was drooling when I was taking a bite. And I took like 7 of them home. My wife and I were eating them every day for the next 3 days.
God.
So
Well, Vlad,
delicious.
thank you. We're looking forward to the sandwiches.